Mark, some snow up there in northern New Mexico
A
tonight?
little bit, but the big story is all across the east we're getting either pictures or people just calling in saying, hey, the wind is blowing, a lot of blowing dust across the southeast, and that makes good sense. We do have high wind warnings and wind advisories all across eastern New Mexico. That's thanks to a cold front plowing its way down across the eastern side of the state, and as it does, it will continue to crank those winds up and lead to the blowing dust. Now here in the city, we're going to get some gusty winds as well here in just a bit, but you can see clouds forming in the wake of this cold front, which is now working its way through the southeast at this point, and look for the east winds to crank up a bit here during the overnight hours here in the city. But for now, not a tremendous amount of wind yet. 48 degrees, winds out of the north at 9 miles an hour. But you can see where that cold air is pooled across the northeast, and that will push its way to the west during the overnight hours and across the southwest as well, leading to some gustier winds, but all across eastern New Mexico. From Raton down to Carlsbad, we have wind gusts 30 to 40 plus miles an hour out there. So that's definitely our front working its way through this portion of the state first, and then it will muscle to the west throughout the overnight hours here. And we've already seen some snow to our north over Colorado and some over the Raton Pass area. And we will see the possibility of snow showers tonight over the northern mountains. We're getting some reports of pockets of snow at this point. Not looking at a great deal of accumulating snow thanks to this front, but a little bit will be a possibility along those east-facing slopes. An inch or two, not out of the question with this. And then during the overnight hours, that cool air squeezes through the canyon, so we could well see gusts 20 to 30 up to about 40 miles an hour here in the city. Then statewide tomorrow, here's how much we're going to cool down versus where we were today. We're going to knock off 8 degrees for our highs tomorrow in the metro, 27 degrees cooler tomorrow in Tucumcari, 17 Raton, and about 25, 26 degrees cooler across the southeastern portion of the state. Now, as this works through tomorrow, we quiet down tomorrow afternoon. Still got some gusty winds, but we're really watching the storm system for Thursday into Friday. What we like about it, number one, the track looks good. It looks like it's going to roll right through the heart of the state here. Number two, it actually looks like it's going to hold on to some of its strength as it comes through. A lot of these weaken significantly. This one won't as much. The problem, it doesn't look like it has a great moisture tap at this point. So we'll keep an eye on it. Still some mystery with this, but I wouldn't be surprised if we end up with a winter weather advisory across the northern mountains thanks to this. And yes, could we see the return of El Nino? It is a possibility. What we're starting to see now are the models telling us that the ocean temperatures in the equatorial Pacific are going to start to warm up here in our portion of the Pacific that we care about. Right now, we're cooler than average, but look at what they're really essentially going to do here, and that is warm up nicely over average. And when you go a half degree or more above average, you get an El Nino. Now we get the La Nina storm track that's way to the north. That hurts us, but the El Nino storm track tends to lead storms farther to the south. So are we set to go? Well, not necessarily. Just because we have a watch doesn't mean that El Nino is a sure thing, but it is becoming a little more likely. And if it does happen, we're looking at more storms. So keep your fingers crossed. We could definitely use it, and it's a real possibility. More on that as we get closer to the spring and summer, which is when we're most likely to see it develop. 50 Grants, 53 in Farmington, partly cloudy for tomorrow. That chance of a storm comes in Thursday into Friday. Southwest, sun and clouds, and over to the southeast, blowing dust tonight and far cooler for tomorrow. You guys are going to be in the 50s to top it off. Up to the northeast, 40s and 50s across the northeast. Chance of showers again by Friday. 49, Espanola, 48 in Taos, breezy and cooler. Shot at some snow Thursday into Friday. East Mountains, some gusty winds at times. Temperatures in the 40s and 50s. And here in the metro, windy for tomorrow. Windy overnight, really, and highs tomorrow in the low 50s. Extended forecast, we warm up with a chance at a shower late in the work week.
All right, thank you, Mark.